I find this to be maybe not a tough question, but a complex question. Obviously, if we're having liquidity questions, my first thing is like, are we earning enough revenue to support our costs? And are we overspending in areas? What are the metrics that we look at as an organization, industry specific metrics of whether we're hitting targets of what our peers are doing naturally within our industry? Usually what you find when it comes to liquidity has a lot to do with either top line sales or a lack of understanding of what your target percentages are, and you're not focused on that. So we could say that system architecture could come into this, but I'll tell you right now, a company very inefficiently could operate their accounting fully on Excel. I'd hate to do it, but that's not going to change the revenue they generate and the money that they spend outside of their finance department. Now, obviously, the finance department would be overstaffed because it'd be so manual, but that's not going to create your true liquidity. It's going to be the cost of delivering your service, or the cost of developing your software, or something of that nature. I would say that your structural issues within a finance department could highlight those things faster for an organization. And so if you have good architecture, if you have good process and so forth, it's much easier for an organization to identify where the problems are. But from a consulting perspective, it's actually, maybe a weird thing to say, but I don't know that I would go right into software architecture within the finance department as my first avenue of a review to try to solve liquidity. I'd probably go dually into rev gen and expense reduction, and find out where we're truly inefficient in the delivery of our products and services. And understand that a lot of businesses have multiple business lines. Sometimes it can be one or two business lines that are creating liquidity issues across the entire org that you just have to look at and decide whether or not that's the right thing to operate. So I think there's more of a art to what we think of as kind of business turnaround services, and identifying where we want to take action to solve that kind of thing. Now, just to sort of put an asterisk on this whole thing, as soon as you solve a liquidity issue, you're probably still not as profitable as you could be. But now you're not like trying to pay your bills and struggling to do that. Once you solve the true liquidity issue at the very basic level of it, being able to operate in some form of recurring cash flow that's consistent, then we start looking at that system architecture, at your finance department, saying how do we structure something that is going to support our needs across all those other departments. And now we go from worrying about liquidity to worrying about true gross profit, net income of the organization, and that is a game changer for business owners.